In today's video, we are once again going to be breaking down the upcoming pattern. There is numerous storms happening over the lower 48 where activity overall is on the upswing. It has been quieter. We do expect a much more active pattern ahead. We also have plenty to watch in the tropics, as there is probably 2 or 3 systems that we're watching right now if we were to really break it down, which we're going to do today. We also have a massive early fall, very early fall cooldown on the way, which will be even cooler than the one that we are undergoing right now. That is going to be for the beginning of September timeframe. I cannot wait to discuss all of this with you, but before we do, be sure to check out Prestige Weather in the description and pinned comment down below, as well as the top right corner of your screen, where we are doing a promo. If you do code DIRECT at checkout, you will get your first month for only 99 cents. So you can check it out. You can also cancel at any time, so it's worth at least checking out for under $1, an unbelievable deal. And afterwards, it's only $4.99, so it's already pretty much a killer deal, but it's even better right now. So be sure to check it out. We have all of these early access videos upcoming that you see on screen for the Prestige Weather members. So if you want to get these early, be sure to check that out. We also have other groundbreaking features on the way that I've never seen in any other weather community to date. So if you want to gain access to all of this at a killer deal that we're doing right now, be sure to use code DIRECT at checkout. Check it out today. Let's dive into things. Take a look here at the upcoming pattern. And again, activity is going to be on the upswing, so that's going to be a big focus today. By this evening, afternoon time frame, we do see that there's already some storms flaring up for the Four Corner States and Rockies. This has been a fairly active area over the last, I would say, couple of weeks at least. This area has been seeing above average activity. When you take a peek eastward of there, though, we really don't see much in the way of any severe activity. I mean, we're seeing some sporadic kind of tropical downpours throughout the Gulf states and southeast, but that isn't too untypical, I would say. We see a passing shower or two throughout the Midwest, Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, and even Northeast there. But really a very inactive day and frame here overall. We see a massive ridge taking place here across the middle of the nation, and this is bringing a lot of heat warnings, heat advisories, all sorts of things from the National Weather Service for a lot of these areas where we're watching for a tremendous amount of heat, which is going to be a far cry, obviously, from what we've seen over the past week and a half time frame, where we've seen very, very cool temperatures for highs and even cold temperatures for the lows in the upper 40s or even 50s. It's been cold outright for August, but we're seeing this big time fluctuation back into the warmer temperatures. But again, as we've been discussing, there is another very relieving and very cold cool down on the way that's going to bring even cooler temperatures than this past cool down has really produced. So we're going to be talking about that later on. Rest assured, for all of you in the Midwest and plains that are frying right now, that is the good news that I have for you. Let's take this a step further. I'm going to take us towards Monday on August 26th, and we do see some of these storms now taking place across more of your northern Rockies, northern plains, and upper Midwest here as well. We see that there is just a drier, warmer slot in here for especially these areas where unfortunately it's going to be very, very hot for at least a few days here. We do see the kind of Gulf and Southeast coast here again dealing with some tropical downpours from time to time. Throughout this model run, you know, I've said it for weeks now, and you guys probably think I'm a broken record, but homegrown tropical systems are something that we have been watching and discussing if you've been keeping up with the videos. Although we haven't seen any yet or really seen any models output anything really developing, today is that day where finally these models are showing development here along the Gulf, along the Southeast in homegrown tropical systems. And what I mean by that is they're not coming from the middle of the Atlantic. They are really just originating here very close to the United States. So homegrown tropical system in that sense is what we're tracking today. Let's take this towards Tuesday on August 27th. What we see is some snowfall and rainfall here happening in Western Canada. Heavy snowfall throughout the Canadian Rockies and Canadian Cascades. I heard from somebody that yesterday a mountain in California got a foot of snowfall. So that would be August 24th. If anybody could verify that for me in the comments or link me to any information regarding that, I would be curious to hear, because that is just unbelievable to me in mid to late August. Definitely unbelievable. We do see plenty of showers and thunderstorms happening here across the northern Great Lakes into eastern Canada. So this is an area to definitely watch for. A lot of activity up there for our friends up there in Canada. We still see quite a bit of tropical downpours happening here throughout the Gulf Coast especially, where again, we're watching for those tropics. Wednesday the 28th here. What we see is a weaker low up here over Western Canada. Some snowfall and rainfall to the west of that especially, not too uncommon. We see showers kind of separating the cooler air to the north and this very, very warm and humid air to the south there. Again, tropical downpours going to be a possibility. Thursday here on the 29th. Now things are getting interesting here by the 29th. We see a 993 there over central Canada. This is dragging a cold front underneath it. So we see this boundary really bringing in this cold air finally here, like I mentioned earlier, into the northern plains and upper Midwest, where currently we're dealing with very, very hot temperatures. We're going to be seeing cooler temperatures by later this upcoming week into the weekend. So definitely some good news there. Again, watching some tropical moisture here, bringing these kind of sudden downpours, thunderstorms, and showers for these areas. Let's take it towards Friday. This is August 30th now by this point. We see this stronger low over the Hudson Bay, 983, very, very strong. A weaker secondary low, 999 there to the south. And these are kind of working in tandem to bring some heavier showers and thunderstorms here to the central areas of Canada especially. We're not seeing a full-blown cool down yet. We're going to get to that in a minute here, of course. We see these two lows kind of combine as a 982 over the southern Hudson Bay. So really what happened is we had this stronger one up to the north. It transferred its energy to this one to the south that was the 999, and then that one moved back up here. So we're really seeing this transfer back and forth, this rotation of this pressure. And now on Saturday the 31st, we see a 982 again over the Hudson Bay. And we see this really strong dragging cold front. We would be watching for severe weather all the way along this for the United States, especially considering we have so much tropical moisture that we've been talking about for these areas, and also a lot of heat. And then we have very cold, very dry air from Canada moving in rapidly with an Arctic blast. You would be watching that area in between for some potential severe weather, to say the least. So that is going to be, again, this upcoming week and weekend, especially late into the week, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday timeframe. We're really going to be watching for this, again, closer to the end here of August. Now, as we take a look, south central states, definitely seeing some of this tropical moisture trying to kind of implement itself into that frontal boundary. We have this kind of rising humidity through the southeast out ahead of this cold front, which is very, very typical. Let's just take this towards Sunday. I want to see what's happening. Look at this worsening overnight, Saturday into Sunday. We're really seeing things flare up. Now we're at September 1st. And finally, I'd say things are dying down a little bit. This low really moves off to the east. We have a dragging cold front here, but very, very cool air compared to normal for all of these areas would be the theme here. We'll look at the temperature anomalies in a little bit, of course. A lot of tropical moisture to go around for a lot of areas over the Gulf and Caribbean, but not only that, the plains kind of seeing some of this move up, which would bring thunderstorm and shower concerns, of course. Let's take it. Well, I think we have a little bit of a tropical concern to discuss here. This happens actually on the 31st. We kind of lost sight of it here, but around the Bahamas, in between, I would say, the Bahamas and the Florida Keys there, we see a little bit of tropical development here Saturday on the 31st. That moves up into the southern Florida area. And by Sunday, September 1st, we see it kind of over Florida here. Some tropical low pressure trying to develop there. Let's see what happens as we move towards Monday, September 2nd. And we see this low really, really begin to develop off the Florida west coast, so in the Gulf of Mexico. Again, homegrown systems finally kind of seeing one occur here. Also, eastern Canada, some snowfall. Eastern Canada on Monday, September 2nd. Very, very indicative of the time of year. September 1st marks the first day of meteorological fall, and we're seeing that on screen here, why that is the beginning of meteorological fall. Why is it September 1st? And the reason being is because that is when we're really, really into the descent of those temperatures. You know, it doesn't matter, the sun, the stars, all that. The calendar, none of that matters here in meteorological seasons. It's all about the weather, and that's why it's a much better reflection of the type of weather you will be seeing. We see a lot of activity for overall the south central and southeast here. Thunderstorms are all over the place. We see at some point between Monday and Tuesday here, September 2nd into the 3rd, we see this storm strengthens quite a bit. This would probably be a stronger tropical storm striking southern Alabama or that very western tip of the Florida the Florida panhandle there. But I should say that we're going to watch this closely. This is just a storm signal at this point. This could be stronger, weaker. It could hit somewhere else, but this is going to be something that we're going to continue to watch if these models continue to show it. We do see that there is, once again, a lot of activity here over the southeast still. We have a major trough over the central states. So finally, I see all your comments from the south central states. This should spell a little bit of cooler air for you guys down there for Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas here. And this should be heading eastward as well. So let's see what happens. That's Tuesday into Wednesday. We see this tropical system is now over the east coast. So a little bit of a Debbie situation, not quite as intense here, but a lot of that tropical moisture traveling up the coast and bringing heavy rainfall here, as you can see, for the entire east coast. Meanwhile, the jet stream is a huge ridge out west and then a massive trough here over the east. Again, centered over the central states especially, but we're seeing a lot of it also for the east out behind all of that storminess. And then eventually we see that low kind of comes to an end. And we get a second kind of area. It's a very similar one. It wants to try to develop here around Friday, this September 6th. And what you're going to see is it travels up just like this. It never really develops this one, but it is there. And it tries to do something right around Florida there, the east coast of Florida and Georgia. And then it moves up the east coast once again. So very interesting model run here. We see a lot of definitely a tropical concern, I would say, and we even around September 10th here, I'd say have some interest here, also over Dominican Republic and Haiti. So yes, we're approaching the peak of hurricane season, and I mean, you can literally tell that there's just storms free flowing through the tropics here. I mean, it's absolutely insane how much moisture is in these areas. Again, very historic and unlike anything I've ever really seen here. Now, as far as your European AI model, we're going to watch this closely. We kind of get a combination of what the GFS model's been showing in this model. We see this tropical moisture does travel towards the southeast like we've been seeing, but it's going to combine with some homegrown moisture as well. So let's watch this play out. We see all of that kind of really combine. And then we see sometime around September 4th here, the Gulf of Mexico needs to be on high alert, especially, again, the Florida Panhandle, southern Alabama. And this, once again, travels up the eastern seaboard. So very much so in agreement with that GFS model that we just took a look at. And that actually develops off the east coast, as well as a very strong storm on this model, impacting areas along the southeast, mid-Atlantic, northeast, even into eastern Canada. There is a very strong storm down into the 970s. So this would be a very impactful system. Then after this, September 6th, we see this potential Gulf of Mexico homegrown system. So from Mexico, travels northward towards Texas and Louisiana there. Watch that. Or actually a little bit further eastward, it looks like Louisiana kind of somewhere in here would need to be on high alert for this system moving up. So that is very interesting to say the least. A lot of activity on this model. Big time increase from what we've even been seeing over the last few days. Also, speaking of big time increases, lots and lots of more precipitation than what we've been seeing for the south central, southeast, northeast, and mid-Atlantic there. That is a big upswing in the activity. And what we see here is more and more greens popping up for these areas. I expect that this is going to consistently increase the moisture for this area. As we've been in a very dry pattern, I think we're going to flip into a more active one. Also, this is the GFS ensemble model. A lot of these showing some tropical interest around this area, as you can see. Also in this area here as well, heading towards southern Florida. So definitely get some ensemble agreement here with the tropical concern, to say the least. Let's take a look at this temperature pattern. Currently, we see the west coast and east coasts are very cold. Again, central states and central areas of Canada, very warm compared to normal. What we see is that they're going to cool down throughout a lot of the upper Midwest as soon as August 28th here, as we get a little bit of an eastern cool down. Also, eastern Canada, very cold compared to normal. We also see that the northwest, as well as the southwest of Canada, is seeing another cool down. Meanwhile, we have kind of warmer conditions over the east and south central states. Eventually, what we see take place here is a massive cool down, again, impacting the south central a lot here. I kind of want to take a look at the United States view just so that we get a good idea of this. So let me take us back here. Here we go. So look at this for Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Colorado, Nebraska, Missouri, Iowa here. The greens are 10 to 15 degrees below normal. The blues within those greens, which you can hardly see, it's a thin band, is 15 to 25 degrees below normal. And those magentas for Kansas and surrounding states is 25 to 30 plus degrees below normal. So a very, very significant cooldown could be on the way in the long range here. And I know I've seen all of your comments, and we stay consistently cold here for Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana. So I get so many comments that are like, don't worry, guys, he's not talking about Texas. Today, I'm talking about Texas, guys. I'm talking about Texas today. Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Arkansas, Kansas, Missouri, all of you guys seeing a big-time cooldown, and a lot of the East as well. A lot of this is driven by these warmer temperatures that we see really thriving out west. This is a positive P&A. It forces the cold air south and eastward, and we see that occurring here. Really, really true to that pattern. Now, we see this kind of stick around. We do overall warm up as we approach kind of after the 7th. This is the 7th of September, still rather cool. But as we approach that 10th time frame, we see a couple of things change. Cooler along the west, which is a negative P&A, which encourages warmth along the central and eastern states, which you see really transpire here. Keep in mind that this is in the very long range. We're taking this with a grain of salt. This is the very last couple of frames of the model run that we see this kind of move in, but could be something to watch for sure. Now, the CFS long range model here, what we see is warmer in the east until about the 1st through the 6th of September. Again, this long range model also includes Texas and those south central states here. Nice relief from that heat. Here is the 6th through the 11th, and we see a lot of the same here. Let's take it the 11th through the 16th, a lot colder out west, a lot warmer in the east here. But by the 20th, 25th time frame of September, we see another massive cooldown here for a lot of the eastern states. So this model is trending at that occurring a lot here. And even for that first week of October, looking rather cool. So kind of sticking with what we've been saying about a cooler fall overall, perhaps in the works here. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to check out Prestige Weather again in the description and pinned comment down below. You can be sure to subscribe. We do upload every single day. You can even hit the bell icon for daily notifications when we upload so you never miss one. Be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it. Leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.